Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create this Dan Koe style animation in Adobe After Effects. And for this video, we are going to create this UFO animation in Adobe After Effects. And in this video, we are going to learn a lot of things such as working with 2.5D animation or making the lights, working with puppet pins. So I highly suggest you to watch the video until the end. However, if you are only here for the Dan Koe style animation, you can use the chapter which is in the description to get to Dan Koe style animation. So before we start, all I want from you is that to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it would help me out a lot for the future content. Thank you so much. Now let's get to the video. So here we are inside of Adobe After Effects, and we have this abduction composition in here that we want to create an animation for it. So the first thing we are going to do is that we are going to create a parenting rig system that can help us to control the UFO, and then we are going to slowly create a Faux movement, and lastly we are going to stylize and wrap up this animation. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm just going to select the UFO layers, and then I'm going to change their colors to orange. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to select them one more time. I'm going to right click on them, and then I'm going to select create shapes from the vector layers. And again, I'm going to select the label groups, and then I'm going to press delete to delete them. All right, so we have these UFO layers, and now what you see in here is that you see a border around each layer. So we need to remove that, because when we set a path keys on each layer, it's going to create a path keyframe for this layer as well. We don't want that. So I'm just going to use the motion tools, and I'm going to select remove artboard to get rid of those artboards. All right, now what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to select the antenna, and then I'm going to fix the anchor point. And now let's check. So as you see, this little circle is rotating with it as well. We don't want that. So I'm just going to go to the content section. I'm going to select these two layers, and I'm going to use the motion tools to extract them. And I'm going to merge them one more time. So as you see, the motion tools is really good free script that every motion designers need to have this script. So I'm just going to set the anchor point on bottom, and then I'm going to parent it to the antenna as well. All right, now this is the sort of the head of the UFO, and this is the head line, so sort of the back of it, and I'm going to parent it to the head. And then this is the lights, this is the main body, so I'm just going to parent these to the body, and the lines to the body as well. Also, I'm just going to parent the antenna outline to head, and then head to the body as well. So now we have a perfect rig in here. Okay, that's good. Now on the next step, we need to create the Faux movement that we want. So to do that, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to start from the bottom. I'm going to select this layer. I'm going to go towards the crazy shapes, and I'm going to set a key on path keyframes, or you can just simply go towards content, group, and then path. This is the same. I'm just going to use this script to work faster, and then I'm just going to move around like 12 frames. So, and then I'm going to select the bottom points, and then with the path selected, I'm going to press Ctrl plus T, and then I'm going to move it a bit up, and then I'm going to, on 1 second, I'm going to bring it back. So we have an animation like this. Great. So a bit narrower. You don't want to. Okay. Now let's go towards the second one. I'm going to create the path keys again, and then let's go around here, and then press Ctrl plus T with the path highlighted, and I'm going to move it a bit up, and then again I'm going to paste it at 1 second. And for the body, exactly the same. We are going to do the same thing. All right, that's nice. So I'm gonna select the bottom point, and then I'm gonna press P to reveal the position, and I'm gonna also add a position keyframe like this. So when it's on the middle, I'm just gonna push it a bit up, and then I'm gonna push it down. All right, we have something in here. So we need to work on easings. So I'm just gonna press F9, and then I'm gonna go towards the graph editor, and then I'm just gonna set the graph like this. So we are going to use the motion tools, and I'm gonna set the easings on 50%. And now let's watch to see how our animation is looking. Great. Now I'm just gonna repeat these keyframes. So copy paste. Let's go like around 8 seconds. Should be fine. So we have an issue, I think, in the last keyframe in here. So we need to make sure. All right, so I'm just gonna copy and paste these keyframes really quick. It should be fine. Now let's watch. All right, great. Now what we are going to do on the next step is that we need to sort of add some movements to the lights. Well, that is easy. So to do that, what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna select the lights, and then I'm gonna write the color to open the fill, and then I'm gonna set a keyframe. Let's press tilde key on our keyboard so we can have access to the timeline. And then I'm gonna move like around 4 frames forward, and I'm gonna change the color to black. I'm gonna use the eyedropper tool from the fill section to set every white color to black. And then I'm gonna press tilde key again. I'm just gonna zoom in a bit, few frames forward. I'm gonna paste it back. And then I'm gonna right click on the keyframes, and then I'm gonna select toggle hold keyframe. So there will be no animation in between. All right, this is what we wanted, but we need to set a keyframe for the last one. So let's just do that really quickly. And then what we are going to do is that we are just going to set this one on toggle hold as well. And then I'm gonna loop these keyframes. And I'm gonna tell you why in a second. So we're just gonna loop them, and we need to keep looping them for around like 10 seconds. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna select each color, and I'm gonna start offsetting them randomly. So it doesn't really matter which is which, so we're just gonna try to offset them to create a sort of flickering effect. So now let's watch. Great. So now our UFO has some have some movement at the bottom. It is time to animate the top part. So we're just going to repeat the same action. I'm just going to select the head, and then I'm going to go towards the crazy shapes. I'm going to set a keyframe on path, and then I'm going to move it around like 12 frames. And with the path highlighted, I'm going to press Ctrl+T to push it a bit up, and then on 1 second I'm gonna bring it back to its original position. And now I'm gonna set the easings on 50% as usual. And then next one is the head. We are going to set a keyframe again on the path, and we are going to set it on 0 second, and then I'm gonna go towards the 12 frames again with the path highlighted. I'm just gonna give it a bit movement like this, and then I'm gonna bring it back to its original position, and then I'm gonna apply the 50% easings, and I'm gonna again yes, we don't need to do much, so we have it, and then we are going to repeat this process again. So as you see, the Faux movement is just playing with the path keyframes to achieve that technique, and it's not really hard. All right. And now on the last step, we can also create an offset between these two keyframes. I'm gonna select them. I'm gonna push it a bit to here, so we have some offset between these two keyframes, and sort of we have an offset between the body and the head. And now lastly, what we need to do is that we need to animate the antenna. Well, to do that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to press R, reveal the rotation. I'm going to rotate it like for -12, and then I'm going to go around like 12 frames, or even 1 second should be good. Let's see if 1 second works fine. Let's apply the F9, and then I'm gonna add a loop out ping pong expression, this one. So we want to repeat this. Well, it's a little bit slow, so we are going to push it towards like 12 frames. Great, now our UFO has the Faux movement that we wanted, so that is nice. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to create a new null object, and then I'm gonna push it around here, and I'm gonna call it the X controller. So this basically we are going to use it to move the UFO from the X position. So I'm just gonna parent the body to this null, and then what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna press P to reveal the position. I'm gonna set a keyframe, and then around 2 seconds I'm gonna set another one, and then I'm gonna press J to go towards the first keyframe, and I'm gonna drag the null in here. So now we have an animation like this. Now let's apply the standard easings. Let's go towards the motion tools. Let's set the easings on 68%. So as you see, it jumps really fast. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to create a new null object again. And this time I'm going to call this Y controller. So this basically controls the up and down our UFO. So I'm going to parent the X controller to the Y. And then as soon as we reach 2 seconds, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to press P. I'm going to set a keyframe. I'm just going to go like around 8 frames forward. I'm going to push the UFO bit down, and then again I'm going to press F9. So we have something like this. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to add another ping pong loop out ping pong expression to the body. So now we have something like this. Well, the movement is super fast, so we need to extend it from 8 seconds like to even 60 or maybe less. So we need to find the best tune for this UFO. Well, that seems good, but we need to still work on easings if we want to make it better. Great. Now we have the main movement for our UFO. Now it is time to stylize it and make it sort of like the Dan Koe style, because a lot of you watching, I think, for the Dan Koe style. So to do that, what I'm going to do is that we are just going to start from the body. For example, I'm going to select the body and then I'm going to right click on it, and then in layer style section I'm going to add an inner shadow. Now, if I open the inner shadow section, I'm gonna use the angle to set the lighting from the down side of the body, and then I'm gonna increase the distance and a bit of size. So now we have something like this. You can add noise if you want, like full amount, any amount you want. And then I'm gonna set the mode on overlay. And lastly, I'm gonna add the deep glow effect into it. So as soon as I add the deep glow, as you see, we have some nice glow. So let's set the exposure on 0.8 and the radius to 250. So we don't want to make it all shiny, but however, we are going to get the layer styles. So Ctrl+C, and then I'm gonna place it for the body. We are gonna get the glow effect. We are gonna place it. So now we have this UFO. Let's go towards the head and let's paste it. Nice. So we have the shadow. So we have the glow effect that we wanted. And let's just select the bottom part. We are going to add the layer styles again from the body line, I'm sorry, and then we are going to paste it. So as you saw, like with 3 steps, you could create the cinematic black and white effect for your objects. So now we have this stylized UFO, so that's nice. Now let's just add a fill effect, gradient ramp, we can, to the background. And I'm gonna change the second color to a grayish color. We can add the fill effect for cliffs as well, and then we are going to change them like this. Alright, that is nice. Now it is time to animate the human. Well, it is fairly simple. Now since we don't have these character layers in separate, for example, we don't have his arms or legs as a separate layers, we need to use the puppet pin tool in order to achieve the movement that we want. So I'm just gonna select the puppet pin tool in here, and then I'm just gonna add some pins to this character. Alright, that is nice. Now I'm gonna press U to open the keyframes. I'm gonna move like around a few frames forward, and I'm gonna use the tool to just give it a bit motion, like without distorting it too much. Great, now I'm gonna press tilde key again to get back to the puppet to have access to all of the pins, and then I'm gonna create some offset keyframes like this. So now let's get back to the timeline and let's watch. So yeah, we have something like this, which is still it's decent. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna create a mask around here, so I don't want to see this character in here. So what I'm going to do is that either we can cut this, so I'm gonna do that by pressing Alt plus open bracket so we don't see it. However, I'm just gonna create a shape in here. And let's just create the shape from here. And then I'm gonna set the human on here. And what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna call this one mask. And I'm gonna use the track matte to track matte it to here. And then I'm gonna set it on invert matte, so when it's outside of the box, we can see the character. When it's inside of the mask layer, we cannot see the character. So all right, now what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to press P a bit in here, it doesn't matter, and then I'm going to create a position. When it's around here, I'm just going to push it a bit up, and I'm going to push it to the UFO. Now I'm going to cut it at the end. So now it's okay. So we have this. And lastly, what we can do before we get to the light animation, we can just press P to reveal the X position, and then we can set a keyframe, and we can just move this UFO out of the screen. So this is good, 68% again. And it's gone. Great, so we have the main animation, which is good. Now on the last step, we need to sort of create those lighting effects. Well, what we are going to do is that when it's around like 2 seconds in its ear, we need to reveal the lighting. So to do that, I'm going to go towards the pen tool, make sure the stroke is set to off, and then I'm going to draw a path like this. Okay, let's call it the light, and then I'm going to place it around here. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to go towards the crazy shapes tool again. I'm gonna set a keyframe on path. As you already know, we are mostly going to use the path animation, and then I'm gonna few frames forward, I'm gonna set another keyframe, and then I'm gonna get back to the first keyframe. And what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna select these 2 layers, and then I'm gonna pull them around here, same as the second one. So sort of I'm gonna close this path like this, and let's just push it a bit to the middle as well. Great. Now I'm gonna apply these standard easings. Now when it's you see we have some white lines in here, so we can just cut it at the beginning, and we can push the first keyframe before, so it already the animation starts, so we don't see that white line anymore. Great, now we have this animation. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm just gonna add a little bit flickering effect to it. So to do that, I'm gonna search for color again, and I'm gonna set a keyframe on fill. I'm gonna press U, I'm gonna go few frames forward, I'm gonna change it to black, and then few frames forward to white, and I'm gonna repeat these keyframes for like a few frames, and then I'm gonna set it on toggle hold, and let's just decrease the distance between the keyframes so we can make the flicker effect better. All right, we have something, but still we need to work on it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to select this layer, and then I'm going to go towards the rectangle tool, and I'm going to switch to the tools that create masks, and then I'm going to draw a mask like this. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to set it on invert, and then I'm going to press F, and I'm going to feather this mask like this. And then still we need to work on the easings. Anything around here should be fine, right? Yes, that is super nice. And we need to push this a bit backward around the keyframes. No, also we can add a circle. Around here, and we can push it beneath the light. Now I'm gonna put a circle. Let's turn down opacity a bit so we can see it better. So this is going to be like parented to here, and we can use the path keys again. Let's delete the original reference light. We don't need that anymore, and I'm just gonna use the let's turn off this, let's turn off this. Let's see the lights. Okay, it's here. We don't need it anymore. Let's just delete it. Let's reveal the light circle. So let's decrease the light a bit so we can see it, or either we can push the human above the light. Now there are still a couple of fixes in there, including we need to make sure that the light is still beneath the body layers, so I'm just going to move them beneath the body layers. And then when the human character, we need to push it beneath the body. Is here, we are going to fix it. All right. Now we need to close this layer, so I'm just going to press U to reveal it. I'm just going to copy and paste these keyframes, and then I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to select time reverse keyframes. So this is going to just close it, and when it's in here, I'm just going to cut it like this. So we are going to now push the keyframes. This should be around here. Great. And now what we need to do is that we need to animate the circle. So when it's in here. So now let's see if we can use the opacity keyframe. So I'm just going to set a keyframe on opacity, and a few frames forward, I'm just going to set another keyframe. And then what I'm going to do is that when it's in here, I'm just gonna push it back to here, but when it's in here, let's just set it on 0. We need to adjust some keyframes. Okay, that's good. And now we can toggle, we can reverse the keyframes. Great. So now let's watch. Here we are at the end of this video, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave out a like and subscribe to the channel, as it would help me out a lot for the future content. Thank you so much. Goodbye.